Welcome to the public meeting of December 18th, 2024 of the Township of Washington Planning Board. Adequate notice of the meeting was given in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act by the Board Secretary to at least 2 newspapers on January 15th, 2024. And this meeting has been posted on the Township Bulletin Board, electronic message board, WCTV on the Township website.
Thank you, Grace. Salute to the flag. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, Grace, roll call, please.
Mr. Carroll,
Here.
Mr. Murphy,
Here.
Mr. Polito,
Here.
Mr. Toole,
Here.
Mr. Toro,
Here,
Mr. Wojciechowski,
Here.
Councilman Ullman,
Here.
Mayor Calamari,
Here.
Chairman Sabino.
He's thinking about it. Is he still in LA or?
I'm still in LA, yeah.
The record reflects also in attendance are Attorney Lou Lamatina, Board Engineer Paul Azzolina, Board Planner Steve Lyden, and Board Secretary Grace Cater.
Okay, thank you, Grace. Can you read the public portion, please?
To participate in the general public portion of the meeting, please click the link on the agenda below and on the website to join the webinar. You will be asked to state your name for the record, and we ask that only one person speak at a time. This public comment portion is only for non-agenda items. Time is set aside later in the meeting to address questions or comments about current agenda items. If you are participating by phone, press *9 to raise your hand and *6 to unmute. At the end of the general public portion, no further general questions or comments will be accepted.
Thank you, Grace. Do I have a motion to open the public portion?
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
aye,
Grace, is there anyone on Zoom?
No.
No one on Zoom? No one in the audience? Do I have a motion to close the public portion?
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
aye,
Okay, moving on to old business. As the planning board members know, we've been having discussions over the last month and a half concerning the master plans. And with that, based on comments made at the last planning board meeting, I think we had some questions as to what is the status, progress, and next steps. So based on your questions, I've asked Steve Lyden from Burgess and Associates, who's assisting the planning board with the master plan, to attend here this meeting this evening. Again, provide us with an overview as to what has been accomplished to date and what are the next steps.
Okay, first of all, Mr. Chairman and board members, let me apologize for Mr. Burgess not being here. He likes to come to these meetings. He likes to come to this board. This time of year, our meeting schedule gets messed up like there's no tomorrow. November, December, boards change hearing dates because of the holidays. People are on vacation, although I never seem to be. So Joe got sent, I think, to Summit tonight, if I'm right.
Mhm.
So he asked me to fill in today, and I'm happy to do that. The second thing I'd like to stress is that I know this is government work, but we're actually on schedule. At the very beginning of this process, we established a schedule for when tasks would get done. And it's been a couple of months now, almost 3, and we're pretty much right on schedule. So that's the very quick nutshell. Where we are, we have accomplished preparation of background studies, including a lot line base map of the community. We've also established the existing land use features of the community, and we've also done the environmental mapping of the community. The environmental mapping of the community is primarily steep slopes, floodplains, wetlands, and the associated buffers that go along with riparian rights and riparian corridors and wetlands. We've also obviously identified and mapped the C1 streams. C1 streams are a short term for classification 1 stream. They're specially denoted by the state, and they have fairly wide buffers in most instances along them. And there are a couple in Washington Township. We've also got a lot of the, if not all, of the economic and demographic background work done. That means we know how many housing units there are in town, when they were built, how many bedrooms are in them, in those houses. We also have a number of single-family homes versus two-family homes. If I remember right, there are 59 two-family homes in town, as well as townhouses and other type things. So all that has been tied into the population. We know how many people are in town. We know the historical growth rates. We know what some projections are. And the most depressing news is we know the age. Northern Bergen County communities are getting old. And Washington Township, no surprise, is true to the model. We've also, with the subcommittees assistance, we have taken the goals and objectives which were enumerated and discussed in the 2019 reexamination board, and clarified them, reorganize them a little bit, and put some meat on the bones, because they had they were good. There's no problem with them, but we thought oftentimes developers and board of adjustment use those goals, and we wanted to be have a little bit more clarity as to how those goals and objectives should be interpreted, so that the intention of the planning board couldn't be mistaken on purpose. So that's all been accomplished. What we're working on now is we've done the formulation of the goals and objectives. We're doing the land use plan recommendations, which are really taking the background data, taking the existing land use map, and taking the goals and objectives and creating recommendations for how Washington Township might move forward into the future. I don't know if you know, but last night the Board of Adjustment, after about 3 years, disposed of a townhouse application that was on Pascack Road. If you look at the goals and objectives, they were doing just exactly what the master plan told them to do, and they did deny it unanimously. So that's where we are. We think we'll have those done probably in about 3 weeks. And as far as next steps go, we're working along with that. We're working with the preparation of the building check, the green building checklists, objectives, goals, and strategies for smart growth, and a vision plan and green building development. These are something we haven't put into too many master plans. So we're working on them diligently. We're also finding that they're kind of moving. It's a little bit of a moving goalpost with some of those. And that's understandable. They're kind of new concepts in some degrees, and technology is improving. So those are sometimes easier to achieve, or they are achievable in different ways that maybe were not originally thought of. And then in other cases, the market's kind of pushing back and saying, not quite yet. So we're working on that. We think we'll have that done in a couple of months, maybe a month and a half, maybe a month. And also in conjunction with that, we're doing the background database on climate change. And this is new. This is something that has come about because of recent amendments to the municipal land use law, and they're now required in master plans. And that and the climate change strategies and goals and objectives are also changing a little bit because they're new. And there are, again, the goalposts are moving a little bit on that. But all in all, I think those are the two next big tasks: getting the land use plan recommendations to you or to the subcommittee, and then working on the climate change and sustainability elements of the master plan. And those are probably going to take a couple of months to knock out. But the work is proceeding according to schedule, and we haven't had too many hiccups yet. We're looking at the land use plan. We keep finding some adjustments need to be made to the plan. So that's really a work in progress, but it's pretty close. There's only maybe, the last time I looked, I thought I saw maybe three things that need to be revised. So, and one of them is Montessori school. Right now we have it as a eating and drinking establishment. So we need to update that to the school, land use. So it's going very well. I don't think there've been any, oh my goodness yet type of, points that we've hit. And we think we don't think, we are very confident we are going to meet the schedule that was laid out at the beginning of the process.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Lydon. And for the planning board members, just to remind everyone that the advisory committee is made up of the mayor, and the mayor has appointed several members of the advisory committee, one being myself, Councilman Sears, Mark DiCarlo, who is the town administrator, Joe Centicase, who is the zoning officer, if I have his title correctly, and Grace. And we also have one member of the zoning board, Dan D'Agostino. So we've been meeting, we'll have our third meeting on January 13th, where we will go over the land use plan recommendations. And I agree with you. We're moving quicker than I had anticipated.
It's pretty darn fast.
Yeah, no, it is. And, I pushed Joe a little bit.
Yes, you did.
We need to get this done, particularly with the affordable, the fourth round. Right?
Yep.
We want to get this plan in place.
It will strengthen the housing plan for sure.
Yep, exactly. And, but the question I have is, I want to make sure that we're still on budget.
Oh, that I can't answer. I don't know. They keep me away from the money.
Oh, there they are. Because we did go a little bit over budget on the ordinance. Remember the 4 recommendations?
Yes.
The 2019 re-examination.
That's true, but it also got expanded a little bit as we worked on this. So there was a little bit of push and shove, but we did go over it. But I think that was somewhat understandable.
Okay. Yeah. I don't want to go to the council, or first to the mayor, then to the council to get additional funds in 2025 because we're over budget on the master plan. So I will check with Joe to make sure that we're on track. And I know Grace is keeping.
I believe Mark has checked with him also.
All right, all of us are.
Yes. Yeah.
All of us are. But I know that Grace has a spreadsheet. We set up a spreadsheet where every month we track our bills versus the approved budget for the council. So we're definitely on top of it. So
that's good. That keeps us all honest.
Yep, exactly. So at this point, I want to open up to my fellow board members. Do you have any questions of Steve concerning the master plan? Anyone?
Grace or Chairman?
Yeah.
Michael Ullman. In terms of the deliverables, it sounded like there was good progress on them. When do they rise up from the advisory group to the actual board? And, do we get a document in 9 months that we look at and decide what to do? Or are we going to is there a feedback loop as the subcommittee progresses?
Great question, Mr. Mayor. Your thoughts on that topic?
I thought this was broken down into phases, and that we would have something to the planning board at the end of each phase, and also the public to weigh in on at the close of each phase. That's my recollection.
Okay. Yeah, I recollect that point too. Mm-hmm. So, Councilman Ullman, to your point, the next phase, probably after the January 13th meeting, we'll have, let me see, let me look at the 2025 schedule. So the next meeting of the 13th is January 15th. It's probably a little bit too early for Joe Burgess Associates to make changes to the land use plan. So what I will do is I will coordinate with Joe Burgess to come in here on February 5th to present his first set of deliverables from phase 1 and phase 2.
That makes a lot of sense, Mr. Chairman, if I might, because the next part will be the climate change and sustainability aspects, and those are related but different.
Yeah.
So, and the land use plan, plan recommendations are really the heart of the matter. So it would be good to, in early February, to produce a deliverable for the board to look at and review and sink your teeth into it.
And Councilman Ullman, your point of at what point do we bring the recommendations to the public? Again, not having experience in this process, Mr. Leiden, how do you normally proceed? At what point do you present, the recommendations to date for public comment? Again, I don't want to wait. I think Mr. Burgess is at the TNEC master plan discussion. We had a TNEC board waiting until the end, and
Yeah, that's not
it
usually,
equated into a huge.
yeah, that's not usually a good idea.
Yeah.
You need to have enough plan or enough of the plan components finalized so that people can understand what the plan is. I would think after, not in February, but maybe after the green buildings and climate change and sustainability has been completed and reviewed by the board, then you might want to have a public hearing at that point, because that gives you enough of a document, enough of a flavor where it will make sense. But it's not too late into the process where everyone feels we've spent 9 months doing this and it's a done deal. So I would suggest maybe after the climate change section is done, which is probably about May, early May, maybe.
Early May.
I'm guessing, yeah.
Okay.
So if he presents the land use plan in February, that would give February, March, and April 3 months to do that next section. I'm not sure that figures in with your schedule, but it's probably pretty close.
Yep. Okay.
I just had one additional question.
Yes, please, Councilman.
So in your update, you referenced a denial of a zoning application for higher density housing on Pascack Road, and sort of alluded to that's in line with the master plan. You also indicated somewhat jokingly that, we do have an aging population in town. And I guess, are you, as you're looking at this, trying to reconcile those two? Because, clearly an aging population does not, it might be a generalization, but do not want to maintain a large house. Their children have moved on. They perhaps want to downsize. They perhaps don't want to mow the lawn or blow the snow. So I'm just trying to understand if, the subcommittee has made any progress in reconciling the aging community and maybe a desire to live in, that type of housing, higher density condo or townhome, and what you're proposing for the land use.
Yes, the one word answer is yes. We do it in the housing plan. We do it with respect to dealing with services and programs and community facilities. For instance, there might be maybe a long time before Washington Township and Westwood jointly build another school, because as the population's getting older, there's also a dearth of under 5-year-olds. But there may be additional needs for different types of housing other than the traditional single-family home, and there may also be need for, just to throw out a current term, pickleball courts someplace in the township. So I think you're right on point with that, but I think the action the Board of Adjustment took last night is consistent with an aging population. As someone who has lived in a townhouse temporarily, I find that to be a very poor choice for senior adults or those with mobility problems or those with young children, because you always find you're going up and down those stairs 1,000 times a day. So, because it's a vertical type of housing arrangement. So, you're right. Housing needs and desires change with an aging population, with all that entails. I'm not sure that townhouses is a good solution for that. So I think it was very much consistent with this draft master plan.
Well, I hear what you're saying, but my brother-in-law has a townhouse that has an elevator. I mean, if we're looking at new stock, there's expense. This town certainly can support a housing stock that has a elevated price and a luxury, and with that type of price comes things such as elevators, internal elevators. So I hear what you're saying, and I understand it's in line with our current plan. I'm just trying to understand, where we're heading, and if all of those various inputs are being factored in. So I appreciate that they are.
Certainly a design with elevators might have been looked differently. This was not the kind of townhouse development your brother lives in. They didn't even have fireplaces inside. They didn't even have.
No, I'm familiar with the development you're referring to.
Okay, all right. Okay, enough said.
Yeah, and Councilman Ullman, I asked that same exact question of Joe Burgess when the advisory committee was reviewing the data, right? We also noticed the aging population of our town, and Joe did confirm to the advisory committee that all that data will serve as input into the land use plan recommendations.
Yes, it will, including the housing plan.
Yep, exactly. So Joe Burgess confirmed that to the committee.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I just had a follow-up question to that. I'm not familiar with the application. You said it's consistent with the master plan. That's the current master plan. What zone is it and what is it zoned for? What is that land zoned for?
It's in the AA zone, so it's zoned for half acre, single family lots on half acre lots. They were originally with about 20 units on the property, then they dropped it. And the application that was decided last night was 9 units on that, on the property. So it's a density pushing 8 units to the acre, where 2 was permitted.
Okay. And again, that's the existing plan. And one thing that we're doing is revisiting the master plan. I would think to include some multifamily housing.
I would think, I think you're right. I think you're right.
So maybe, as Councilman says, that zone now will be tuned towards what is good for that zone, possibly townhouses of a certain type, maybe with elevators. Maybe you said, I don't know if you can do that. I haven't seen that. Requiring elevators.
That's an interesting take.
Yeah, but it is helpful.
Yes.
I've used an elevator in the house. It's very helpful.
Yeah, one in Lavalette, right? Your house in Lavalette.
Orly Beach. It's a beautiful thing. Especially when you want coffee in the morning, it's one flight. I mean, a long walk down those stairs. Get in the elevator. Anyway, so I think I'm kidding, right? So that's where we're going. I think affordable housing is nothing new. It's from 75. That's where we're going. And all towns are going to be required to add multifamily housing. I don't want to talk about the Seasons property, but we've sort of talked about it before. But I think that's where this is going. So to your point, we do need to provide for the aging population, but I call it the cycle of life. So you put apartments downtown and say Emerson of all places, right? People move there. Okay. When they want to move out and want to buy a house from a senior, well, where does a senior go? Maybe he goes to the apartments right downtown, walks across, gets his bagel sandwich like I did today. And that's the cycle of life where people can stay in the town when you build multifamily housing. And say what you may about affordable housing, but that's sort of the intent, at least I think it is, of what the plan is for affordable housing, to keep people where they want to stay and not have to move to South Carolina or Florida. So that's my little stump, my little speech. But that's your point is well taken, and that's I think where everyone has to go, including this board, this town.
Thank you.
I expected applause, but that's all.
I would agree.
Any other questions of Mr. Leiden from Burgess Associates? No? Okay. Mr. Leiden, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate you attending this evening, and happy holidays.
And same to you. And I would suggest questions like the councilman had or other questions, email Joe about them or email me and I will get them to Joe. So the document is as good as we can make it. So thank you all.
Yes,
Thank
thank
you.
you. Good to see you.
Okay, then we move on to new business is discussion of the 2025 meeting date. A couple of changes here. First one is hopefully everyone agrees, but I'd like to start the meetings at 7:00, which is consistent with the mayor and council meetings. They also start at 7. So that's the first change. The second change is that we move, normally we meet on the second and fourth Wednesdays. And because of the mayor having his mayoral meetings in Pascack Valley, it's a little bit of a challenge for him to be 2 places at one time. So considering that, I'm recommending that we change the meetings from the second and fourth, the first and third Wednesdays of each month, with the first meeting being January 2nd, which is our reorganization meeting. And with the reorganization meeting, to let everyone know.
It's a Thursday.
It's a Thursday. Yeah, it's a Thursday. So with that reorganization meeting, it's myself, the chairman and the vice chair's position will be renominated. In addition to, I think Vladimir, you're also up for appointment.
He's already graciously accepted
Oh,
to another
all right.
appointment.
Yeah, do I have to sign in or sign swear in again?
That day.
Okay, that day, all right.
Yeah.
Well, don't sign before you ask for a pay raise.
20%.
What I got over this year.
Push for 30 instead of 20.
I accept.
All right. Okay, so then mayor, you only have to accept nominations for the chairman and vice chair,
Correct.
which is myself and Bill.
Yeah, and the board votes on that.
Yep, exactly. So
May I just ask, my appointment ends, I believe, on the 31st. So, and we're not meeting before then. So there likely will not be a council representative, I believe, at the meeting.
In the strict sense of the word, I have to agree with you, but I would suggest if you can attend, at least be a member of the public.
Oh.
I'm not saying whether they're going to reappoint you or not, but maybe you want to attend.
I'm hoping they don't, but
Oh, man. Oh,
What?
oh,
Why
man.
don't you tell us how you really feel?
Yeah.
no, I'm. We'll have to see. I don't know. It's we'll have to see. But just to go back to the date stuff, it's going to be the first and the third Wednesdays. We're going to continue on Wednesday and starting at 7, correct?
That's correct.
All right.
Except for the January 2nd meeting, which is a Thursday.
Okay. And I would expect to attend on the 2nd.
Okay. And then Councilman Ullman, when is the next mayor and council meeting? Because you get appointed by the council.
January 6th, I think.
Oh, January 6th.
Yeah.
Well, Grace, do we have any applications scheduled for the 2nd?
No.
No. So Councilman Norman, it's just a reorganization, just the appointment of Vladimir and potential new chairman and vice chair.
Oh, so now you don't want me to be there?
No, you can be there. We like your presence, but it's up to you.
Yeah.
Certainly. If I could ask Grace to just at least copy me on the invite and the agenda, and
Yes.
thank you.
Do that.
Great. So everyone's in agreement, starting at 7 and changing to the first and third Wednesdays?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Lenny, I was just looking at the dates as we were talking. March 5th happens to be Ash Wednesday. I don't know if that's a problem for some board members. It's not for me because I usually get there earlier. But,
Yeah.
and not that it matters, but no, March 19th, I'm out of town. So I'll miss that meeting.
March, I'm out of town. I still call in from India, in London, Poland.
I will be babysitting, and that's pretty much a 24.
All right, you get a bye.
My kids are out of town, and so I'm babysitting that whole week.
All right, you get a bye.
All right.
I set the standard of rolling around the world.
Things are different than when we were parents.
Yeah, really.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, they're taking.
Great, so I think Grace, we can publish the schedule and some.
We should vote on it if you're gonna publish it.
We got to vote on it?
Yeah,
Okay, do I have a
the
motion?
resolution.
Do I have a motion to approve the 2025 board meeting date?
I'll make a motion. I'll make a motion to approve the.
I'll second it.
Roll call?
Mr. Carroll,
Yes.
Mr. Murphy,
Yes.
Mr. Polito,
Yes.
Mr. Tool,
Yes.
Mr. Toro,
Yes.
Mr. Wojciechowski,
Yes.
Councilman Ullman,
Yes.
Mayor Calamari,
Yes.
Chairman Spino.
Yes. Okay. We have our dates and time. There's no minutes. Going on to the next agenda item. There's no minutes. Any board member have any additional comments before we adjourn this evening?
I did too. I even made notes.
None?
It was decided.
Okay, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Oh, that plan used it, but not storm.
Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
No, thank you.
Thank you. Have a good holiday.
Have a Merry Christmas, everyone.
Hey, Brian, is that an endorsement to stay on the
I'm
spirit?
campaigning for you already, buddy.
All right, well, before everyone leaves. No, no, no. I mean,